Welcome to Scarlet Nexus, I'm Alex, and I'm going to be breaking down some of the major differences between the two main protagonists, which each tackle combat in their own unique way. You will have to choose between either Kasane or Yuito at the start of the game. However, to get the full experience of Scarlet Nexus, you'll be having to play through both of their intertwining campaigns, but this guide will hopefully assist with which one you'll want to start out as. I'm going to be digging into some of their main active abilities, a few of their unlocks, and some advanced combos that will make you more effective with both characters. I'm planning even more Scarlet Nexus stuff very soon, so stick around if you enjoy this, but for now, let's just get right on into the big differences between these two characters. First up, let's take a look at how Kasane plays. Kasane primarily focuses on multi-hitting wide-reaching attacks that are great at hitting grouped up enemies, amplifying those attacks with electric properties, slowing the movement of time, and doubling the potency of her item-chucking psychokinesis attacks. Kasane's initial weapon of choice is the Butterfly, which sends out a group of floating knives to hit from close to medium range. Although these attack animations are a little slower than Yuito's, they are much better at scooping up extra hits on enemies all around you. One of Kasane's strongest active abilities is Electrokinesis, which applies the electric element to her attacks to either drastically increase their range or change them entirely. Electrokinesis lasts a pretty long time and can be a complete game changer to how Kasane plays, so utilize this whenever possible. Next is Hypervelocity, which enables a brief slow-mo period where you can freely attack, however, this will break if you suffer any damage. This can be used to counter incredibly fast enemy types, or to just better set up big combo opportunities or environmental interactions. Then she also has Duplication, which will take anything picked up with Psychokinesis and double the amount of objects thrown. Also, there's a fun synergy with this if you invest in the concurrent SAS activation skill, which will let you have more than one active ability at a time. If you pop Electrokinesis and Duplication, when you throw an item, Electrokinesis will electrify the first object thrown, followed by also shooting out that bonus projectile from Duplication. This can greatly damage the enemy from a distance and even set them up nicely for follow-ups if they become knocked down or stunned from that electricity. Next, Kasane also has Invisibility, which will allow her to sneak around unnoticed. If you hold down the special attack button during this, you can activate a hard-hitting backstab as well. Now looking at some of her initial advanced combat mechanics, Kasane has a pretty good aerial combo game. She can pop enemies up, regular attack twice in the air followed by a special attack, 2 more regular attacks, and finish with a charged plummeting special attack before hitting the ground. Instead of that plummeting attack finisher, she can extend how long she can stay airborne by activating Psychokinesis in the air. This will reset her combo string, allowing you to repeat the normal into special attack string over again. Kasane also has an unlockable passive skill that makes her aerial Psychokinesis attacks even stronger and faster. She also greatly benefits from knocking down enemies, which will allow her to do a special Psychokinesis slam attack on them. Overall, compared directly to the other playable character Yuito, Kasane feels slightly more like the ranged caster-style class between the two. She really excels at multi-enemy combat while keeping her distance, however, she is perfectly capable in close range as well. Some of her active abilities allow for a bit more creativity, like utilizing slowing time and invisibility, and her really powerful electric and psychokinesis attacks are devastating when used correctly. So that's pretty much the basics of Kasane, and let me know if you're planning to start with her first, or, well, let's get into his breakdown before you really decide. Next, we have the other main playable character, Yuito. He excels at fast-hitting one-on-one combat, absorbing oncoming damage, warping around the battlefield, and retaliating against oncoming strikes. Yuito's initial weapon of choice is a single-handed sword, which hits a little faster than Kasane's weapon, but is more pinpointed to targets straight in front of you. Yuito's playstyle aims to put him right up close and personal with little range combat outside of his psychokinesis powers. One of Yuito's main abilities is Pyrokinesis, which buffs his sword with fire damage and slightly modifies the area of effect of some attacks. Pyrokinesis lasts a pretty long time and is a very important effect you'll want to maintain whenever possible. Then he also has the ability Clairvoyance, which has a few other uses outside of revealing certain enemies that can go invisible. When this is active, it also gives you a larger window to perform a perfect dodge and a special attack out of it. For enemies with shells, which are pieces of armor that block damage, if you land a perfect dodge attack during Clairvoyance, this will destroy their shell in one single strike. Next, he also has Sclerokinesis, which activates a hardened barrier over his body. This will completely negate oncoming damage, letting you power straight through large hits to continue the offensive uninterrupted. Each time this absorbs damage, however, it will greatly chew through the gauge until it's depleted. Then he also has Teleportation, which changes his dodge, extending its range. This can even be used to pass straight through some physical barriers, which expands the areas you can explore, often leading to extra goodies. During combat, Teleportation also allows you to warp strike right to nearby enemies when attacking, making this an effective tool at managing group encounters. Unlike Kasane, Yuito's attack out of a dodge actually skips the first attack of his basic combo string instead of adding an extra hit to the sequence. This is actually a good thing because the third hit of his combo string, when imbued with Pyrokinesis, is that Fire Pillar AoE strike. Using dodging to quickly shortcut to this strong attack can be really useful in certain situations. Next, Yuito's aerial combo game works pretty much the exact same as Kasane, where you can link normal attacks into special twice before hitting the ground. Also like her, you can extend the duration you're airborne by casting Psychokinesis at the end of the combo. Next, if you invest in Yuito's charged aerial attack, you can actually make good use of it really close to the ground. If you tap special attack and then immediately hold special, you can activate that strong aerial combo low to the ground without having to have the enemy popped up into the air. When Pyrokinesis is active, that plummeting strike will also cast a flame pillar upon hitting the ground. Next, if you unlock concurrent SAS activation, this lets you have more than one active ability at a time. A good simple synergy I like to use with Yuito is casting Pyrokinesis and Sclerokinesis, which gives you a big buff to your damage and that absorbing barrier, which lets you flail away with strong attacks uninterrupted. So overall, Yuito is a little more straight to the point with his attack and defense style, really excelling at dispatching one enemy quickly before turning to the next. If you want raw close range damage and solid defense, Yuito is the way to go. That's it, and now that you made it through my demonstration of both characters in Scarlet Nexus, now is also the time to let me know which one you're going to play as first. I'm curious what you decide. Keep in mind, this is not everything either of these two characters can do. They will eventually have some abilities that cross over in between them, and this was ultimately more of just a summary of some of their potential in the early game. Now, if you want more Scarlet Nexus coverage or want more late game focused breakdowns of combat, abilities, or upgrades, let me know if you would want me to grind out even more videos just like this. If you happen to like the style of my gameplay breakdowns, consider sticking around at Boomstick Gaming because stuff like this is what I enjoy creating the most. As always, this has been Alex, and thanks for supporting by watching this all the way up to the very end. I'll see you next time.